Hello, I'm Chandra Weigel, Associate State Director of Outreach and Advocacy for AARP Texas, and I'm based here in Houston. Today, I am joined by Harris County Clerk Tanisha Husbeth, and we're going to have a conversation about the upcoming November 7th election. Welcome, County Clerk Husbeth.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. What better season to talk about elections than to be right in the middle of an election cycle?
Yes, so tell us a little bit about Tuesday, November 7th, and what the voters of Harris County, particularly for Houston, can expect.
Yes, so for starters, there's quite a bit on this ballot that most voters probably will be kind of surprised to see. There are 14 state constitutional amendments. So if you're a registered voter in the state of Texas, you will see one of those constitutional amendments. There's also a Harris County-wide election. It's the Harris County Hospital Bond election. Of course, which everyone will know if you live in the city of Houston, there is an open mayoral race and city council members by district, city at large, and some city of Houston propositions. There is a total about 43 entities that will show up on this ballot, this election cycle, everything from smaller jurisdictions like City of Bel Air to many school districts and some of our emergency services districts, also known as municipal mud districts. So if you don't pay your water bill to the regular place and you report you have a mud, there are a total of 43 entities. So there's a lot for voters to vote on this upcoming November 7th election. And if I can expound on that just a little bit more, in terms of what you need to know. Right now, if you are a mail ballot voter, you qualify to vote by mail, we are accepting applications as we speak, and we hope to see more in the coming weeks. Anyone that can exercise their right to vote by mail, the deadline for our office to receive the applications is October the 27th. That means it has to be received in our office. And those who qualify to vote by mail are all of our voters who are 65 and above. If you're disabled, or even if you're a pregnant mother, right, and you're not sure that you're going to deliver that baby between now and election day, you can vote by mail as well. For our college students, if you are registered in Harris County or in the state of Texas and you go to school in a different state or a different county, you can get your application and vote by mail as well as being, confined in jail but not officially convicted of something. You can vote by mail. And so those are all of many different ways that individuals can vote by mail. Another good one, if you're going to be out of the country, right, and you planned that trip and you've paid for it, you can vote by mail. So again, the deadline for us to receive that application is October 27th. I say get it done now. Don't wait for the deadline, because the turnaround for us to get that ballot to you takes some time. There is also other important facts you should know about the election. If you are voting in person, early voting for this election begins October the 23rd through November the 3rd. October 23rd through November the 3rd. It is 12 days of early voting from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We have 68 voting centers that voters can choose to vote from on early voting. And then election day, which is November 7th, 701 election day vote centers that voters can choose to vote in person. So we are geared up and ready to go. Those are some important facts, and I have more to share.
Yes, so tell us a little bit more about how we can make sure we're registered to vote. I know you have a website out there that's been redesigned and repurposed. So tell us a little bit more about how we would be able to look up our information.
Absolutely. HarrisVotes.com for all your needs. .org, .net. Harris Votes is your go-to when it comes to elections information as a whole. You can also go there to search your voter registration. Today is a very big day. It is the deadline to register to vote for the upcoming November 7th election. Or if you need to update your information, say you've been married and you've changed your last name, or you moved and you want to make sure that you're voting according to where you currently live now, today is the deadline to get that done. You can go to harrisvotes.com and you can go to the voter registration tab, look up and see your information to verify. You can get an application and print it out. But because today is the deadline, I encourage all folks to either come to our downtown office or any one of our many annexes to fill out that form and place it in real time. There are also tons of volunteer deputies, voter registrars who are all over the county right now that are registering people to vote. We have an outreach team who is at events all day today to register individuals to vote. So again, harrisvotes.com, or you can contact our office at 713-755-6965. Get her done.
Wonderful, wonderful. And once I look up my information, will I be able to see what exactly is on my ballot? Maybe I don't remember who my district council member is. So would I be able to see who would be running for that spot or
You
rerunning?
You sure can. So outside of voter registration, you can simply go to our sample ballot tab. All sample ballots for this election is on our website. It is simply a search engine where you can go and put your name or your address, and you can pull up your specific sample ballot to know exactly who's on your ballot. And here's the thing, if you've moved or whether you've not moved or not, redistricting and boundaries have changed. And so, going to that sample ballot ensures that you know what you can expect to see when you go to vote, whether it's by mail or early or election day. There's also a full sample ballot, like if you want to see all the possible races that voters can have this time. I know there are a lot of civic groups and organizations who are sharing that spiel. The biggest important fact that voters need to know is, in the coming weeks, you'll see a lot of probably commercials and information about voting for the city of Houston. You should really double check to make sure you're registered and you live within the city of Houston. Harris County is such a huge melting pot of different cities. And so you might have a city address or Houston, Texas address like I do, but I'm not actually in the jurisdiction of the city of Houston. So, most voters always kind of get that confused when it comes to municipal elections, is verifying, do you vote in the city of Houston, or will you just have state constitutional amendments and the countywide races on your ballot or different areas. So the sample ballot, the early voting schedule, the map, locations are all on harrisvotes.com, as well as the voter registration tab.
Wonderful. So, say I decide to vote in person and I do it on election day and I run into some issues. Is there a number that I can reach out to, or maybe a website that I can send questions or any concerns or anything that I see that may, happen at a voting location?
Absolutely. That number is 713-755-5792. 713-755-5792. I'll tell you, most of the information is on harrisvotes.com. And I think what is so wonderful about having countywide polling place program is that you can truly go to any voting location. But if there are some questions that you have, if you felt that, you're not really clear on something that is taking place at a polling location, that is the best number to go to, and inform us and let us know so that we're able to address your concerns. We have a call center and a help desk that is funneling calls and addressing concerns throughout the day that day. So again, 713-755-5792 and harrisvotes.com.
Wonderful. So you've told us about the voting locations and where we can go and the various dates and things. If I show up to vote, what type of identification should I have with me, just in case?
Yes, very good. So all voters that are coming in person to vote, now obviously there's credentials that have to be brought forth for voting by mail. You can simply use your driver's license or any Texas ID, any type of Texas ID that comes from the DPS system, right? You can also use the Texas Election Identification Card, which also comes from DPS. Maybe you're not a driver or you don't utilize that document anymore. This is a free ID that comes from the DPS system that has Texas Election Identification Card. You can receive that. You can use your passport or any record of a passport. It could be the actual book or just the picture and card. You can also use your handgun license document if you have that as a credential. So those are pretty much the documents. If you don't have those, there's another layer of documents that you can provide to be able to verify that you are a voter. But the main one is that Texas driver license or Texas ID that comes from the DPS system.
Wonderful, wonderful. And before we close, before we go to closing thoughts, can you give us the election dates again, and the time frame in which we can cast our votes?
Absolutely. So again, November 7th is coming fast. It's approaching very fast. This election, voters should know that while it's mostly municipal races, you will still see 14 state constitutional amendments, a countywide race. November 7th is election day. Early voting is October 23rd through November 3rd. That is 12 days, which also includes the weekend, right? So if you can't get away during early voting, no fear. The weekends you can vote. On Saturday, it's 7 to 7. Pretty much all days of early voting is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday of early voting, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday of early voting. If you are a vote by mail applicant, then you can send your application into us now between October 27th. We need to have it received by then to get your ballot to you in time to vote by mail. Harrisvotes.com is your portal to get all information in regards to the upcoming election. Our election hotline is 713-755-6965. And if you want to know about the candidates and more details about the races and the propositions, I encourage you to go to League of Women Voters Houston. The League has a nonpartisan voter guide that is a really good resource to learn more details about who's on the ballot, what races they're running for, to give you that foundation before you go cast your ballot. So we are excited about making Harris County elections work for everyone. 68 early voting locations, 701 election day locations. We have a ad that's coming out that's saying represent your vote, Harris County. There are 3 ways to get it done, so don't hesitate. We want to see you come out and vote for this election cycle.
Thank you so much for joining us today, County Clerk Husbeth. AARP is committed to helping our members and their friends get the information they need to go out and vote. Thank you all for watching today. If you have any questions for our guests or ideas for future topics, please leave it in the comments section below. Have a great day.